Hello everyone, this is Naz from nazislam.com. This video is part of the series MongoDB tutorial. So in the last video, we went through how you can connect MongoDB to a Node.js application. So in this video, we are going to talk about how we can perform the CRUD operations. The CRUD stands for create, read, update, or delete. So we will go through the coding exercise and we will test through Postman. So in the last video, we went through creating a new route called planets and which allowed us to connect to the Mongo client, and we were able to fetch the data from the planets collection there, and we were also able to call our endpoint through Postman, which allowed us to fetch all the document information from the planets collection. Um, so in this video, we are going to do some more CRUD operations like creating, reading, updating, or deleting some data from the NoSQL database collection. So in order to proceed, let's first of all we make this route as like planet slash all, since this route is giving us all the planets information from our collection, right? So what we can do is that we can save this, and let's start our server using this command npm is start. So after this starts the server, let's head back to the Postman, and let's create a new request here. I call it planet slash all, and we're gonna select this. So if I hit send, you should see that this returns the planets information from the planets collection here. And if we log into our Mongo Atlas client here and we check our database, so you will be able to see that, okay, so these are all the information we have right now, right? So we're going to create a new route which is going to um, allow us to create new um, document in our planets database. So in order to do that, we can copy this bit of code here, and let's paste here. And now we are going to update this code so that we can post some new information. So what we're going to do is that since this will be a post request, we're going to do app.post, and we're going to remove this so that we can pass any planet's information through a request body. So in order to do that, in order to make our application able to receive a JSON object from the request object, we need to use a middleware, so which is express.json, and I'm going to use express.url encoded, and within this curly brace extended to be false. Okay, so now we are able to receive the request objects from a request. So what we're going to do here is that const, we give it a name like rec.obj, and we can get the rec.body as the request object. So whenever we're going to make a call to this endpoint, or we make a post call to this endpoint, there should be a request body and we're going to pass this request body to our MongoDB client. So all this code should be fine, and on this line it should be insert one, and we can pass this particular request object here. And you can see that this to array is not needed because we don't need to convert the response object to an array. And yes, once the request is completed and this gives us a response back, we can just spit out that response in our Postman. So I save this file, and you can see that the nodemon allowed us to auto refresh our server. So at this point, if I go back to the Postman and let me duplicate this request, and let me just make a few changes here. So this should be planets. Let's make this a post call, and we can have this one. Yeah, so since we need to pass the planet's information through a request body, we need to select raw here, and let's pick JSON, and we can pass any object here, right? So if you take a look at the particular objects, the ones we have right now, so you will see that there is a particular ID. So this one is auto-generated. There is a name field, there is an order from sun field, and there is another field has ring, and there are also two other fields, right? So let's build an object with name as Pluto, and let's have this particular field here. Let's call it the order from sun is 8, and also has ring. So if the orbit has a ring or not, let's make this false, right? And we are not going to pass the two other fields, and this is actually one example that since MongoDB is a NoSQL database, it does not follow a proper structure. So what does it mean? That it's not mandatory, all the objects does not need to have the same set of fields. So what we can do is that we're gonna have a set of fields here. So if we're gonna send the request here, okay, you see that this was a 200 response. So I believe that it went through, and if we are going to refresh the collection here, we should be able to see our new object here. Okay, so let's take a look at the last one. Yeah, you see that the new object has been added to our collection here. Yeah, this is pretty good. Yeah, and also to double check, we can also make a call to the planets all endpoint, which should give us all the planets information, and you should see like our Pluto planet has been added there. Awesome. Okay, so yeah, as you can see that this way we can connect to the MongoDB client, and through this insert one method we can pass any object to the insert one method, and it should create a new document into the collection. Okay, so let's create another route which should be for updating one of the existing document in our collection. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna create a REST API which takes a variable name, right? So in this case, what would happen is that we're gonna pass a particular object that we need to update to, and we also need to capture this particular name, and which will let us know which object to find from the collection and update, right? So we can do planet name, and we can get this variable name from the endpoint through the request.params, and within the code put name, right? So we have this query to find out this particular collection, like particular document, and once we fetch this particular document, we will update it through this request object. So what we're going to do is that db.collection, instead of insert1, we're going to do find1 and update, and we're going to pass the query. So the query would be the field. So in our case, right, so in our case, let's say that we pass the Pluto as the name, right? So in that case, we need to set the query as name, should be the name from the path parameter, and so let me put this in a different line here, right? And let's do $set and to this particular request object. All right, okay. So once the request is completed, the response will be saved to this variable, and which will be returned to the postman response. And if there is any error, it should throw an error. So in order to test that, we can do some sorts of like this. So we can let's duplicate this request, let's say, and we're gonna say that planet's name okay, let's say this, so planet/Pluto, and we're going to pass the particular body with yeah, let's copy the body from here and put it there, right? So since we're passing the name to the parameter, right, so we don't want to put the name here, but let's say we want to update this Pluto object, right? So let's make it let's say 9, and let's make this one true to make sure that we're getting a new object back. So let's have this body, and also let's make let's update the yeah, let's update the request object to put, and also I make sure that okay, so it was not also updated here, so let's make this one to put. All right, so now if I run it, yeah, so you see that, so this one is a 200 response code, and we're getting back the ID and the information. So now if I refresh our page here, yeah, as you can see that the order from sum has been changed to 9, and also the has ring property got changed to true. So we can see that the put request is also working properly. Okay, So let's create another route to uh, delete a particular object from our collection. All right, so we can reuse the some of the code here. So but let me make this a delete request. And yeah, so we will pass that particular name, which name we like, we want to delete from the collection. So so this is the name, should be the planet name, so this should be good, but we don't need to pass anything to the request object, so we can delete it this. And here we, instead of the find one and update, we can call delete one, and we can pass this particular query, and that should be good enough. So I just removed that set the update query, so we just need this query. And yeah, the rest of the code should be fine, so I save it. Let's just make sure that the server has restarted properly. So now if we're going to duplicate this particular request and just update this request so that we can test our delete operation, right? Okay, so this this request should not have any body, so I just removed it. Okay, so now if I send it, awesome. Okay, so you see that this also returned us a service response with a status code 200, and acknowledged is true and the deleted count, so one item has been deleted from the collection. So if you go back in our collection and refresh this, okay, so you will see that the Pluto object that we just newly added, so that one is deleted. As you can see that we can also run our planets all endpoint just to make sure that we are getting an updated updated JSON. Yeah, so here you can see that yeah, so the Mercury is the last one and the one we just added, so which is already deleted. Awesome, great. So we have gone through the basic CRUD operations that we can perform on a NoSQL database such as MongoDB, and we have gone through some tests as well using Postman. So I believe that we got a good amount of information for running some database query. Please go through the coding and do some more practice, and this way you can really become a great developer. On the following videos we will discuss some more things regarding MongoDB, NoSQL query, schemas, and all great stuff. So until then, thanks a lot, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more helpful videos. Have a good one. Bye.